JavaScript, you know, it's one of the language for the web page development, right? There are other two languages also, HTML and CSS. In total, there are three languages, three base languages, which we can use to work on web pages. These are three core languages for web pages. And all these three languages, they have a specific purpose to resolve. Right? For example, with the help of HTML, we define the structure of a web page. How many headings will be there, how many divisions will be there, how many forms will be there, how many paragraphs will be there, right? And inside this structure, we want to give the hard-coded content also. That also we can give as part of HTML. Now some organizations are replacing this with React or Angular, right? But basic HTML is for this only, for the content and the structure. CSS basically manages the presentation part, the look and feel part, how things will look like. So you will decide the width of a, division, or width of even a small text, that you can decide height, background color, right? There are multiple CSS setting, padding, margins, font size, right? Spam, multiple attributes are there. And basically with the help of CSS, we manage the presentation part, the look and feel, how things will look like basically, right? Now we will understand what JavaScript does. See, JavaScript helps us, make the web page, according to the business requirement. For example, what happens when you click the submit button, right? What happens when you as I said, when you click the submit button, or when you move the mouse over a particular menu option or something, right? This is all JavaScript which is running in the background. How images changes from time to time, right? We can have timers as part of our web page, right? You can expand any option, you can hide any option, you can take the request to the server side, right? So basically the web page work because of JavaScript. Web pages act because of JavaScript. Web pages perform because of JavaScript, right? So JavaScript makes the web pages alive. It makes the web pages interactive, right? JavaScript has this role to play. It makes the web pages alive, it makes the web pages interactive, and we have to learn those concepts. How many data types exist as part of JavaScript? What is the concept of object or array or map or set or error handling, right? Or there is a concept of Ajax, jQuery, closures, asynchronous programming. These are all concepts of JavaScript basically, right? And now TypeScript is there, which is written on top of JavaScript, which basically supports the object-oriented programming features, which we will learn. But basically we will learn that we are making our web page alive because of JavaScript, right? So the role and the responsibility of each web page language, that should be clear to us first of all. All right. So our web pages work because of JavaScript, right? See, then comes
So for
yeah.
JSON, is it it's the type of file for JavaScript, or is that completely different?
So JSON is what? It's called as JavaScript object notation. Now it is basically nothing but an object, right? Everyone wants to communicate in the object form. Object is nothing but a key value pair, right? Like this. This is nothing but a JSON. It is always represented by curly braces, and it has a key value pair, right? I will tell you objects in detail in further classes, but that concept of object is what JSON is. So it is, in a simple language, it is the JavaScript object. They call it as JavaScript object notation, but this is a simple JavaScript object. Like in every language you can create objects. We learned in Python, we have in Java. In JavaScript, this is how the object looks like. Now everyone nowadays, everyone likes to talk in terms of JSON, right? Because every browser supports
Yeah.
that, every framework supports that, right? It's very easy, simple to understand. There is no software required to make it run. There is no jar file required to be embedded to make the JSON understandable, right? Okay, fine. All right. So see, after that, yeah. See, after that, one basic thing comes. How does this JavaScript work? Right? Because, see, to make Java work, you download JDK. To make Python work, you download Python interpreter. Right? But JavaScript, HTML, and CSS work on web pages. Right? So, JavaScript is written for web pages. Now, if JavaScript is written for web pages, then it is the web pages who decides whether your JavaScript is correct or incorrect, or what does your JavaScript mean. So basically, your browser, for example your Chrome browser or your Safari browser or your Firefox browser, right? They have something in them which understands JavaScript, and because of that our websites work. Because of that our web pages work. All these browser like Chrome has V8 JavaScript virtual machine engine. Chrome and Opera, they both has V8 JavaScript virtual machine engine. You will be surprised to know that Node and React, they are created on top of V8 JavaScript virtual machine engine, or you can say they are created to make it work for Chrome and Opera. Further, nowadays every interpreter shares all the libraries, so every JavaScript concept works on all browser. So JavaScript virtual machine engine is there as part of the browsers. JavaScript virtual machine engine is there as part of this browser, which compiles our JavaScript code and which runs our JavaScript code, right? Which understands our JavaScript code. These browsers, they understand. Every browser has its own code name for the JavaScript virtual machine engine. For example, I was telling you about the Safari. Safari has actually got two JavaScript virtual machine engine when you open a Safari browser. One is called as Nitro and another one is called as Squirrelfish. So earlier, many applications that are created for Macintosh or Safari browser, they are created for Nitro Squirrelfish JavaScript virtual machine engine, right? But these languages, they are created on top of V8. You will hear this word a lot in the web programming. Similarly, you have Edge also, you have Firefox, right? Firefox has, first of all, this JavaScript keyword is patented with Firefox, but they have this JavaScript virtual machine engine called SpiderMonkey. It is their JavaScript virtual machine engine which understands the JavaScript and code and run that code on the Firefox browser. Similarly, I think the last one left is Edge browser. Edge has got Chakra core. Chakra core as their JavaScript virtual machine engine. So my point is, in a basic way, you should know that we are not installing anything special like Java. For Java, we have to install JDK to develop Java code or JRE to run the Java code. For Python, we need Python interpreter 3.11.4, whatever version. But for JavaScript, I will directly run on the browser, and they are running because of their embedded JavaScript virtual machine engine, which reads, compiles, run the code, and ultimately these JVM convert the code into machine language also. They read, they compile, they convert into machine language code. Machine language code is also called as bytecode, and then the JavaScript code works on the web browser, which ultimately works on the operating system. Operating system understands the machine language code, right? So
Yeah,
this
makes
is, yeah, right. See, after that comes, just the one more basic thing about history of JavaScript, when it got originated. Actually, JavaScript and Java, they both came in 1995. Initially, the name was LiveScript, but since Java became very popular the day it got, the year it got introduced, so just to have, to enjoy the same bandwagon of Java, to enjoy the same popularity of Java, they named it as JavaScript. Otherwise, they are two entirely different languages. They have entirely two different scope, or they have entirely two different directions. Everything is different between these languages, but sometimes programmer get confused because the name is JavaScript. Otherwise, it was originally named as LiveScript, and now people popularly call it as ACMAScript also. Short form is ES. Nowadays ES6 version is going on, right? So it is also called as ACMAScript or LiveScript. The history is, it was first written for one browser called Netscape Navigator 2.0, and parallelly Internet Explorer was there. So they also created their own JavaScript with the name JScript, right? The popular ES version came in 2011, ES5, and then ES6 came in July 2015, which gives us the concept of a constant. I'll tell you, right? Basically, all object oriented programming features came here. When I say object oriented programming features, for example, the role of a constructor, for example, the role of a inheritance, right? For example, the role of encapsulation, all of these concepts comes as part of ES6 version, right? So after knowing this history, let's understand some ES6 features, right? Basically, ES6 features are also called as TypeScript language or TypeScript feature, right? And for TypeScript to work, you don't have to do anything extraordinary. It is written on top of JavaScript only. So TypeScript will also work as part of web pages. Web page will work on your web browser. So you don't have to install anything. So earlier the concept of constants were not there. Constant means what is declared, it is declared, it cannot be changed, right? To understand these concept, let's say I have this, we can use this editor first to understand the JavaScript concepts first, right? For example, I created a constant call like this, right? Now I can print the value in JavaScript like this, right? After that, if I try to change the value, I will get the error. The error says, you see the output here, assignment to a constant variable. I mean, you can't do this, attempting to override value which is constant, right? So there is a concept of constant in every language. Now JavaScript through TypeScript has also got that concept using const keyword. So for example, I am dealing with the birth date of a person. We know birth date can't be changed, right? Or we have the concept of, some hexadecimal values for these color options, green, red, yellow color, right? So these are usually created as birth date, right? What will not change? In countries we have social security numbers, there are multiple things, user address, let's say, right? So there came a concept of constant. Similarly, there came a concept of block level variable, right? With the help of let keyword, right? So I'm just giving you the introduction. This is called as block, right? Curly braces. I told you object is also recognized by this, but if you have a code inside curly braces, that is a block, right? So if you have this, right, here you can print the value, but you will see that if I use this value to variable outside this block, it will say it is not recognized, right? I got an error, uncaught reference error, value 2 is not defined. So outside the block this variable is nothing, right? So you can say I have a local variable, and in JavaScript we usually create local variable only. We want to use the variable, you know within our code and then just get out of it. We don't want to use that variable again. Local variables are created for one functionality, right? Now if I create another block inside, and if I name it as same value 2 with value 30, right? So the outer block, it is still showing me the value as 10, right? But if I print this inside this inner block, the value is 30 only, right? So inner block value is 30, whereas outer block value is still 10. Basically everything depends on the block in which the variable is defined. You can say it is the house of this very variable. So the variable belongs to this house, and this variable with the same name belongs to this house, right? So here we have a very useful concept of let keyword, a block scope variable, right?
So we have to use it. So it's let, is it like declaring the variable
Yeah,
or?
we are declaring the variable. So in JavaScript or TypeScript, we only have three ways to declare the variable: const, let, var. Var is there since the inception of JavaScript, LiveScript or ECMAScript. Let and const came in, actually const came in 2011 ES5 version, and let came in 2015 ES6 version. Now let is used in a block. Constant, it is used once, to declare a variable. Again, they are only used to, all three are used to declare a variable. Var keyword I will teach you, it has a function scope or it has a global scope. But if you have a block scope, we use let keyword. And of course you are right, these three keywords are only used to declare the variable, right? Okay. So if you say I have a constant outside, this constant,
So sorry, what will happen if we use var here instead of let? Like,
so you see, first let me show you about the var keyword. So here, this is a block. Now I told you var has a either a function scope or it has a global scope. Now here, whatever I am declaring, it is a global scope right now, right? So if I use it inside this, it will show me value 3 is, but outside this block it will work, right? With let keyword it was not working, but the point is, yeah. So the point is, if I declare a function here in JavaScript, you can declare a function, say hello. So now it did not work because now it does not understand where this variable was declared, because I told you either it has a function scope or a global scope. When I remove this, it has a global scope, but when I bring this back, it has a function scope, right? This is not true for let keyword. Let keyword says I am only restricted to a block, this block. For example, this is an all-time true statement. Here I declare a variable with this value. So if true will always work. But if I print value 3 here, it will print me 20. But if I print value 3 outside the block, it will not work. But this will work if I just say var, because this is not a function, it is just a block. So now var says I am a global variable, but let was saying I have a block scope. I don't know what is, what this outside the block means.
So the blocks is basically what, I guess, based on the curly braces.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. So these are the two keywords that has come in JavaScript, which are used quite a lot. So you have to understand the basic difference between all three. And of course, in the coming session, I'll give you a very brief, explanation on var keyword. So don't worry about that. Similarly, there is a concept of arrow functions also in JavaScript now. Arrow function is, saying the same thing, but saying it in a very limited way, which completes our work. For example, I have this value 4. I'm saying I will give you a value variable. You just add 1 to it, or you add 10 to it and give me the output. So here I have this value 4 and I passed 40 to it and it gives me 50 back. It added 10 to it. So I could have done this via like this also, right? I could have done this like this also, but you see here, this is called as function declaration, which has got a function name. I'm calling the function, and now if I print the output, the output it shows me is 50. But I took these many number of lines to declare a function, whereas with arrow function I just have to declare one line and it was doing the job for us.
How does that no value is referred to the value 4?
Sorry, if I use value 4 here?
For arrow function,
yeah.
How does for line 2? How does it know that whatever you declare for value 4, which is 40, is gonna pass through value and then value plus 10? Like, is value a keyword?
No. It could be anything, right? I'm just saying a variable name, something I will give you. You just add 10 to it. Output will be 50. Something I will give you. You just add 10 to it and output will be 50. Right? This is my declaration. It could be any name.
Okay.
right? Now further enhancements are coming. Arrow function is this is called as arrow, right? So further enhancements are coming. For example, here in JavaScript, this is array in box bracket or square bracket. So if I have some values, 10 like these values are there. On the array, I can go through all the values like 10, 20, 30, 40. I can go through all the values. So here I am saying I will give you a value which is nothing but 10, 20, 30, 40. You please give me a square of, a multiple of that same value. So it gives me 100, 400, 900, 1600. Basically 10 into 10, 20 into 20, 30 into 30, 40 into 40. Or I could have said add just 5 to it, every number. So it gives me 15, 15, 25, 35, 45. What I want to tell you is for each is there on array and I'm just passing any value and doing some operation. Right? So JavaScript interpreter understands this, that I will take one value at a time and add something to it and give you the output. Right? I'm just saying some enhancements has come.
For each loop, for loop using an array.
Right.
Arrow.
Yeah, this is arrow function. I'm using arrow function, but I'm using for each with arrow.
How would you write this one without the arrow function then?
Yeah. So here I have this simple function, right? So I have this simple function called, let's say, add 5. Okay, and here I said some array will come. Okay, so this array, I give this value to this array, right? So now this array element I have to give to a basic for loop. So what I will do, I will have this let I starting with 0, I less than this array dot length and I plus plus. This is a basic for loop. This is how we will get all the elements of this array. Now this will have the array. I added 5 to it, right? I added 5 to it and I can return this, right? I can return this. Okay, so it is returning every element plus adding 5 to it. So if I just say the output to this, and let's say I simply pass this, right? So, and if I print the output back using console log, it gives me the first value. Similarly, I can write a logic to give me all other values, but I'm saying that I have to write this kind of a logic, right? Yeah. So what my point was, enhancements are coming for arrow functions. For example, sorting. Sorting means putting the data in ascending order, right? We can sort the data. What do I mean by this? Let's say again I have an array, right? I have got these numbers, right? I have got these 5 numbers. Now on this array I can call sort function, right? And it is understandable to languages that I will give you 2 numbers and you just add like this. I mean you subtract like this. Now this will sort for us. For example, if I print this entire operation, right, it gives me the output 2, 10, 23, 45, 203. It sorted for us. Now you'll ask me, what is this logic? I'm saying I'm giving you 2 numbers at a time. You subtract them. Now you say, what do you mean by subtraction? See, I get 3 kinds of value. For example, I get a negative value, I get a 0, or I get a positive value. Negative value means the left hand side value is greater than right hand side. 0 means both are equal. Positive value means right hand side is greater than left hand side. So sort function is a browser based function. It is known to browser that this on the basis of negative 0 or positive, I should be able to sort the data, right? So it is there in every language. Here we just have to mention like this, right? Whatever you give, it will sort for us. Okay.
So it's sorting based on whether the difference between the two numbers is positive or negative or zero.
Absolutely right.
But zero just means that it's both the same numbers.
Right. 0 means both are same.
So in that case, how would it?
Actually, this is a
which
OS
number would
operating
it put first?
yeah, it is known to the browser. So if both are equal, let's say I give 10, one more 10 here, right? Now it puts 10 parallel to each other. Now browser knows that they are equal, so they put it beside one another, right? So yeah, it is known to the browser. They understand these functions, right? Because they have JVMs as part of their browser, right? Okay. See, then you have got default function parameter. For example, some, in other languages you have got overloading or overriding. These concepts are there, right? So for example, here only I'm saying let output. I'm giving you two numbers. You just add and return me the output, right? The variable I have used above also. So here I put console log and I give this output 2 and I passed 20 comma 30, so it gives me the output 50, right? If I give 20 comma 50, it gives me the output 70. What I mean is, let's say I don't give second parameter, or let's say I have got three parameters and I would like to sum those three parameters. Now it gives me this NaN. NaN means not a number. It is perfectly fine. It is called as mathematical mistake made by a programmer. The script will not stop. Right. What I mean is, to this parameter I could give some default value. Now it gives me the output. It says 20 plus 50 plus 20, which is 90. What I mean is, whether you give me the value, if you are giving me a value, let's say 50, so the output will be 20, 50, 50, 120. But if you don't give the value, I have got a default value for me. So like this, you can give default values to a parameter. It is applicable in these function declarations also, right? So here, if I don't give this, right, if we don't give this 20 plus 10, 30 output, this is called as default function parameter. You are giving a default value to the parameter if by any chance you don't give the value at runtime. Okay. Sorry, you said you could not get this?
I'm just saying that it's basically you're assigning a value already to the function, right? So then it's just using that value.
Yeah. I'm already assigning this value to a variable in a function. This is a function parameter. I am assigning a default value to a function parameter or function argument, or you can say function variable.
Okay.
right? So whenever you see this kind of thing directly as part of function, just understand one thing, that programmer has given a default value. If nobody passes the value, the default value is already available to that particular function. Okay, that is default.
But what if someone does pass? Would it still accept it or no?
What if someone says,
Like if for this one it's already assigned, but what if someone does pass it? Would it still accept or
no,
would
it will accept.
error?
So if I pass, my output
Will
is
accept.
150, 2170. This is only applicable in a case when the third parameter is not assigned. Right?
So like in this case, it's 20, 50, 100. So the line 31 where you have A, B, C is equal to 20, it'll skip over that, and then it will just do whatever it has, 20 plus 50 plus 100. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is called as
Yeah.
default function parameter. Basically, when we try to give the default value to a particular parameter. Okay. See, then comes the rest function parameter. Okay, rest function parameter. Rest function parameter means, what if you pass more values than what is already there? Okay, for example, I have this function, right? I have this let's say functionality, right? Okay, so let's say this variable is there, and okay, let's say this variable is there, then here this is called as function, right? Just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say two parameters are there. These three dot is called as spread operator. Okay, so this is called as rest function parameter. Now I'm saying two parameters can come, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, any number of parameters can come. What I mean is, let's say inside this I am going to give console.log. Here I am saying value here I am saying value of A is, I printed value, and then I said value of B is, I printed value, and then I said value of A is this and value of B is this, and arguments left are, I just use this args length, right? Okay, so I did this.
Okay.
Now when I call this, Now when I call this, I'm going to call this, let's say this holds the entire functionality. I passed 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40. I passed 4 parameters, whereas only 2 parameters were there. So when I run this, it prints me value of A is 10, B is 20, and arguments left are 2, meaning this 30 and 40 I am still observe, I'm taking into consideration. This 3 dot means, it is called as spread operator, but here this thing is called as rest function parameter. What I mean to say here is that any number of parameters can come. So earlier we were giving a default value like this, that if this does not come, this is your value. And here we have, we are saying any number of arguments can come. Right? So this is called as rest function parameters. Now these are all,
here we're not assigning any default things to it, so you have to pass it basically.
yeah. So
so in this case, even though you said A, B, can I still give it just one and it will still flow or no?
No, if you just give, because that's a very good thing. So when you run like this, it says undefined. When I'll teach you the data types, undefined, nan, infinity, they are all perfectly fine. Undefined means right now I don't know the value, right now I don't know the value, but in future I might know the value. I might come to know the value for B, but right now we don't know. And there are no more arguments left, which we need to take care.
But the function won't run if one is passed, I guess. So minimum, I guess, is 2 is needed because in the log you're printing value of A plus B.
Yeah.
That correct? That correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you give 2 values, yes, it will make sense. Okay, this is called as rest function parameters. See, then there is a concept called string templating. String interpolation or string templating. Right? So what I mean is, if I say something, let's say let name of the user, let's say name of the person is XYZ, for example, that's the name of a person, and there is a message to this user. Now this is a string variable, so this is called as backtick, what you see here, which is there above the tab key, backtick. And here I said hello, $, curly braces or figure bracket, curly braces, and if I print this message, it will give me the message as hello XYZ. Name could be anything, hello, let's say Charlie, right? So it will say hello Charlie, meaning I integrated one string in another string using string templating. This backtick is necessary, this dollar is necessary, this curly braces, they are necessary to inculcate one string in another string, right? So here let's say I have same arrow function. I said here formula, that some parameter will be given and you add 10 to that value, right? This is my formula. So here I said there is an input value which is called as 5. Okay, formula says I want some parameter, I will add 10 to it, input value says 5. So here I created a variable called result, Again I use the backtick. I use the backtick. I said the output is, right, I said the output is dollar sign, curly braces. Inside this has the entire formula and it wants this parameter. So it says the output is, I did not print this. So console.log result. If I print this, output is 15, meaning I passed 5 to 10. If I say 25, output is 35. What I mean is, see how I am inculcating, how I am integrating one value in another value. Right?
Yeah.
So this is
Well, I just for the let name and let formula. Why can't you use var? Would it not work with var?
no, you can use var. Everywhere you can use. What I meant initially was that when I will introduce these blocks and when I don't want that variable to unnecessarily stay in memory, I will always use let keyword for that. Right? I just want, once this block is over, this variable should be gone from the memory.
Removed. Okay.
Only that is the reason. Right?
So you can use var with arrow functions. I thought you had to use let. Okay.
No, you can use var also with arrow functions.
Okay.
Okay. Then you asked about JSON. Basically simple object properties. Right? I told you that object is actually created like this. Like here I said the name of a user is, let's say, Charlie, and here I said the age of the user is, let's say, 35. Now if I just print this object, and this is how your JSON also looks like. This is just a key value pair combination, right? In age 35, name Charlie. Okay, so now we will print object like this. But if you ever see somebody doing like this, that let's say here I have a name with the variable name Charlie, and they also introduce another variable with the name age with the value 35. They introduce two variables like this. So if they said their object is this and they pass name and age, earlier before ES6, same object like this also, name Charlie, age 35, I passed name and age to this and it printed the same output. Or if somebody would have said like this, name is this, age is this, I still get the same output. So JavaScript used to follow this also, JavaScript used to follow this also, and now JavaScript uses this also. TypeScript also uses this. So all three formats are accepted in JavaScript. They are all JSON or a simple object.
It's the object basically you use curly brackets.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's an object.
Absolutely.
Because here you're using var, and for the other variables you also use var, right? So
yeah, you're absolutely right. This is how this is how we use, this is how we recognize the object. Okay. See, after that, the concept of class creation has also come. Right? The concept of class creation has also come. For example, you can create a class like this and you can say, I will give you the radius, and you can say using this keyword, that we would like to set the method parameter like this. Now I created the object of this class like this with the radius 10. It will set the data. So when I print this object, it will
Java, no?
sorry. Right. So what I am doing is I am creating a class in JavaScript. This is a TypeScript concept, but it works in JavaScript also. All TypeScript concepts works in JavaScript. So I am creating a class. Here I am creating a constructor. Constructors are always created to initialize variables. We are initializing the radius variable. Right?
Look, we use a TypeScript is built on top of JavaScript.
Yes.
Okay. But this is very similar to Java, no?
Right? This is
Very similar to how you declare class in Java.
Yeah. This is actually all object-oriented features have come in JavaScript now. Right?
Okay.
All object-oriented features have come in JavaScript. For example, after this I can create a function calculate, and in this I can return math.py into the radius that we have into the radius. Right? So using this object I can call the calculate function. It will give me pi r square, the radius with the radius 10 which I have given above. Right? Here it says radius. You see the output. So method creation is also possible now.
And this was only possible because of TypeScript, you're saying?
Yeah.
When did they add TypeScript to JavaScript? Or when did TypeScript get was built?
So now see, as I'm telling you, see, for TypeScript you don't need anything, any other software to be installed, right? TypeScript works on the JavaScript environment. So this object-oriented features, constructor, class, this keyword to replace the instance variable with the method parameter, these functions, these return, they all work as part of JavaScript, right? Okay.
It's just the concept is from TypeScript.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So these are some, some TypeScript features, some which are used in JavaScript: const keyword, let keyword, arrow function, default function parameter, rest function parameter, string templating, object properties, or this class, constructor, method, right? In the next session I'll tell you about the getter, setters, inheritance, and having encapsulation, and then we will talk about where keyword in detail, right? So wherever you face any JavaScript code and you could not understand it, just feel free to mail me also, right? I'll explain you what that JavaScript code is doing.
Okay. You mentioned about Node being like for Chrome. So Node is also JavaScript, or is that does it need something else to be ran?
See, for Node, React, Angular, Vue, they all are written, now they all uses TypeScript, and of course by default they uses JavaScript language, but now they also use these TypeScript concepts that I have told you, right? Node is used for network based file system based programming. You know, you want to talk to file system or you want to talk to some other server, right? But again, we use JavaScript only, and now we use TypeScript also. All these concepts which are coming, we use that, right? Okay, fine. Shall I wrap up or yeah? So
Yeah. Could you also pass these ones, the ones that you typed up on that link?
see, these typed up things now they will vanish away, right? But I will put this recording in your batch recording folder, right? All this will
No, not this the one, like the one that
oh,
you
okay, okay.
typed
Sorry, sorry,
in
sorry,
the
sorry. You're asking about all this, right? This I will mail you.
the yeah, this one.
Yeah, this I will mail you instantly.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So Jan, next week, Saturday, Sunday, both, I'm extremely sorry. I might have some work, but I will keep you posted, right? To adjust
Okay.
that, we can connect somewhere, the following week. Somewhere we will connect or we will spend some extra hours, but I will keep you posted about my next week. I think some challenges might be there for the next week, right? But I'll keep you posted for sure,
Okay.
right?
Okay, yeah. Let me know.
Sure,
Okay.
Jan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.